Hey y'all. So I know I look crazier than that thing right now. But I promise you what I'm about to share is much bigger than what I look like. So I was sitting here thinking about some stuff. I'll get to what I'm doing, but I just want to say first that whenever I talk about addiction or the things I did in addiction, I am not glorifying them by any means. It's more so to help paint a picture and really to help explain where I'm at. So when I was out using, something that I used to do was in Minnesota, people that get evicted, all their stuff gets put out on the curb, yada yada, and I would go through it, right? And people used to say all kinds of stuff to me, when I was doing it and stuff. And I got to the point where like my addiction got pretty bad, and I was just using to move around even. But then I would use right before I was gonna go through somebody all this stuff that's trash, quote unquote. And so just so that like I didn't have to think about what people would say when I was doing it, right? And so there's a lot of shame and a lot of things that come from a lot of things in active addiction. And so I have been blessed with this opportunity recently to walk through this place that a house that people had left a bunch of stuff behind. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I spent one day, came down and spent one day just dumping out trash bags, right? And sorting through trash. It was trash and good stuff and all this kind of stuff. And I had all these mixed feelings about it, right? Because I used to do that in the streets when I was smoking and all this stuff, but I really wanted to help, right? I didn't know who I wanted to help, but I just wanted to help, right? And I just look at a lot of different things as an opportunity. And so and like I said, like when I used to be out there and stuff and digging through trash and bins and all that kind of stuff, there's like a huge piece of humility that comes with that. And so anyway, so then I came down here today because I was able to sort out a bunch of stuff. And so I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I do this, right? Like who in their right mind is going to do this kind of thing? And so I'm sitting here, not sitting, right? Because I haven't really sat this afternoon, but looking at all this stuff and I'm like, okay, all right, what am I going to do? And I had moved a whole bunch of trash out and moved this trailer in, and I'm starting to sort this stuff and put it on a trailer, and I don't know how to pack a trailer, you know what I mean? And it's whatever. And so I sat down and I was like, me and my sister-in-law, we call it like the invisible wall. It's like when you just like, it feels like you hit something, right? And you're like, I don't want to move anymore, man. I just like screw all this stuff. Why don't we just put it all in the trash, right? And so I started listening to some music, and I listened to a lot of Christian music, and it was like God's spirit like literally came into me, and so I wanted to explain a couple of things. I can't explain why every addict believes in God when they get to recovery. I can only explain why I do. And primarily it's because I couldn't get myself out of the streets as much as I wanted to, as much as I was trying to survive and whatever. Like I had came to the conclusion in my addiction that I was going to be an addict for life. And that was that. Really all that I had to do, well, I mean, there's a lot more that comes to it, but like, it was like God said to me one night when I was still out using, like, just trust in me, right? So when I said I couldn't, he said I could, right? And from that, I have, not only am I, almost 8 months clean, I've lost the desire to use. There's a lot of things that have changed in my life, right? And so I hit this invisible wall, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't want to do, and all that came to me, well, there was a couple things that came to me. First thing is what I was just talking about. I think I can't, but he says I can, right? And so that's me putting my will. My will says no, you can't keep going. No, you might as well just give up. Which is that old, like, I consider it my old mentality. A lot of the times I'll relate it to my addiction mentality. Primarily, it's really just my life prior to God. Honestly, I think, anyways. But like, my will says I can't, his will says I can. So if I trust in his will that I can actually do all of this, right, then I can do it. And if I look back on the things that have happened in my last 7 months, right, I said I couldn't quit. He said I could, right, and I did, And so I'm thinking about that, and also with going through all of this stuff, there's a lot of things I'm one of those people, like, I'll shield people from other things, from having to do other things. If it'll help somebody else, I just as well might do it. And so, like, I don't want anybody else to have to dig through trash. I don't want anybody else to have to do all that kind of stuff. I know what it's like, and so I can bring myself to a place where, I'm doing this for the greater good, or I'm doing this for somebody else. And I have gotten a few items out of it. I'm not going to lie. I still have an addict mentality. So I brought a bunch to my house, and then I brought a bunch back. But that's okay. You know what I mean? Because I accept where I'm at today. But, so I was just, there's just so many things I was thinking about. And so I don't know if y'all can see, but I have moved most of it onto the trailer and packed it. Right. And it looks like that's not a lot, but there's a lot of stuff there. And I'm really blessed to be able to be in this place where I'm at, to be able to see things and be like, because I'm not saying anything people I'm around, right? People I'm around are like, that's trash, right? There's bags of trash. That's trash. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no. Like, somebody else could benefit from this. We could help them. Right. And so this whole trailer is going to go to Vapor, which down here is it's like a Christian based I don't know if Goodwill's Christian based. I don't know. Anyways, it's a thrift place or whatever. They sell things really cheap and stuff like that. And, I think about things a lot, and I am just so grateful to have gotten the opportunity to even be able to look at this stuff and be able to see it in a way that a lot of this will go to help people. And I'm also grateful. I'm just, there's a lot of things in my recovery, and I know I'm just probably rambling right now, but it's just whatever I think that I can't, right? And whenever I think that I just, how am I going to keep moving, man? I've had a lot of things happen. Not a lot of terrible things that have happened in recovery, right? But I've had a few things that have been damn, how am I going to keep pushing, right? And I think about when I was out using, and I was like, how am I going to keep pushing? And there were many days when I didn't want to keep going, right? But there was still something inside me that said, no, keep going, keep doing it, right? And so I'm so grateful that I've gotten to the place, and I say this in a very humble way, because I'm not on a hierarchy, I'm not any of that. Please know that I'm not saying it like that. What I'm saying is, I've gotten to a place that I want now, not that I have to, but that I want to be able to go through this stuff so that I can help somebody else, so that somebody else doesn't have to do it. Somebody else doesn't have to struggle the way I did. Somebody else doesn't have to do this, that, and the other to be able to survive. You know what I mean? And I hope it helps. I don't really know in the scheme of life, but I know that as long as I'm doing, the next best thing, and as long as I'm living so that I'm helping another human, it's second to none with me. And so I just wanted to share that, get on here and share it. Sorry again about my look. Again, I'm, cleaning and doing a whole bunch of stuff, but, I'm really thankful to get, this opportunity to share this with y'all, and hopefully got some experience, strength, and hope from what I was talking about. I thank you, and I love y'all.